Welcome back to the 17 News at Sunrise podcast, where we share your news on your schedule.
Working in the spirit of the Golden Empire, this is 17 News at Sunrise.
Good morning. 2 officer-involved shootings last night in the Bakersfield area. 1 suspect wounded, another killed. The first started with reports of an armed man breaking into a home. We'll have the latest on the investigations coming up.
Are more restrictions coming to Kern County? Local health officials warn that we are not meeting the metrics to stay in the tier we're in now, which could mean stricter lockdowns coming.
And celebrating Veterans Day, we're going to tell you about events happening around town where you can honor those who served. This is Wednesday, November 11th, 2020. Good morning. It's 5 a.m. Good to have you with us. I'm Maddie Jansen alongside Alex Fisher. And yes, today is the day to pause, reflect, and celebrate those who served our country. And there are a lot of events happening around town. Yeah, and Kevin joins us this morning to talk about your forecast, but also to talk about a barbecue that's happening later today that will benefit so many local nonprofits here in our county. Good morning, Kev.
Good morning, Alex. Good morning, Maddie. Yeah, today is a day to reflect on our veterans, and I've got numerous in my family. My grandfather was a Navy veteran. My brother was a Marine. My uncle's in the Army. So it really hits home for me on this Veterans Day, and today is a day to celebrate all of them. And today we're at the Elks Lodge right here by the Garces Circle, and we're going to be kicking off a barbecue right around 11 o'clock to celebrate those veterans. You can come down if you are a veteran and get a meal for free, and the general public can come down and support veterans as well. And that meal is only $8. And I'll tell you, we've got some great barbecuers out here that are going to be really helping out throughout the day. And again, the money is going to be supporting the Kern County 999 Fund and also the Burn Survivors Fund. So money going to also good causes here in Kern County, and we get to support our veterans all at the same time. So we hope you'll come down. We're having a lot more information on this coming up in just a little bit, but we hope to kick it off at 11 o'clock, and we'll be serving till 2:30 this afternoon. On the weather front, it is definitely another chilly morning out here. So if you are going to be heading out, make sure you grab a jacket. The freeze warning is still in place for Kern County into the valley locations until 8 a.m. here. As we take a look at the skies, we still remain clear. A few high clouds will be rolling through today, but overall mostly sunny. 40 degrees to start, so definitely a chill in the air, no winds. And on this Veterans Day, taking a look at the hour by hour, we should see temperatures rise near 60 degrees. As we take a look at the Tehachapi area, we've got a current temperature right now of 25, so many blessings as I stand outside right now. I'm glad that I'm not outdoors in Tehachapi. I'd be cold to the core. So definitely grab a jacket if you're in Tehachapi heading out the door this morning. As we take a look at the temperatures, and you will also be looking at the 50s as we progress into the afternoon. But again, daytime highs will rebound a little bit. We've been talking about the chance of rain heading back into our forecast, but when will that happen? I've got the details on that coming up in just a little bit. Back over to you.
All right, thanks so much, Kev.
It is 5:03 now, and we begin this morning with 2 officer-involved shootings in the Bakersfield area last night. One of the men shot is in the hospital this morning. The other is dead. 17 Taylor Schaub joins us now with the latest developments from overnight. Taylor?
That's right. The 2 shootings on separate sides of town took place within an hour of each other, Alex.
In just 1 hour, there were 2 officer-involved shootings. The first was just after 7:30 near the corner of White Lane and South Real Road, beginning with an emergency phone call to the Bakersfield Police Department from a homeowner in South Bakersfield.
There was an intruder inside their residence armed with a firearm. Officers responded within minutes.
Police say the man ran out of the home. Officers who were responding say they found a man matching the intruder's description, but the man then took off. The shooting happened a short time later.
Officers observed that he was armed with a firearm. Officers discharged their firearm at the subject, striking him at least 1 time. He was taken into custody. His firearm was recovered from his person. His extent of injuries at this time is minor.
The suspect was then taken to the hospital. According to BPD, no officers were hurt. The second OIS happened just an hour later in Oildale, when a man armed with a weapon was killed by a sheriff's deputy during a chase on Lincoln Avenue.
The subject was pronounced deceased at the scene as a result of the officer-involved shooting, and the deputy was uninjured.
KCSO says they've recovered a weapon on scene, but says the investigation is still in its early stages. The county now sits at 19 officer-involved shootings so far this year, just 4 away of its record.
Both BBD officers and KCSO deputies were wearing body cameras during the altercations. That video will be released at a later date. In studio, Taylor Schaub, 17 News.
All right, Taylor, thanks so much. Your time now is 5:05, and coronavirus cases continues to climb here in Kern County as another 143 new cases were announced yesterday. Our daily average is over 100 cases over the past 7 days, and it is increasing. That is signaling a second surge could be coming. More than 35,000 people have tested positive since the beginning of this pandemic. There are currently 49 people in the hospital with more severe symptoms. That's 5 more hospitalizations since Monday. More than 9,000 people are recovering at home. 429 lives have been lost due to this virus in Kern County. The good news? No new deaths have been reported for several days. And like we've mentioned before, it may seem like a modest increase right now, but there are major concerns about what could come in just a matter of weeks.
That means our stay in the red tier of coronavirus-related restrictions may soon be coming to an end.
We are not currently meeting the red tier metrics. And so the state is now today putting us on notice that for week 1, we have failed the red metric tier.
Officials announced yesterday Kern is on notice. If we don't reduce our numbers, we could easily slip into the more restrictive purple tier. That would mean most non-essential businesses would have to shut down indoor operations. That includes restaurants, churches, gyms, and movie theaters. Schools that are fully or even partially open, however, can stay open regardless of which tier the county's in. That applies to most schools in the county. The few that are still completely closed can only open when Kern moves back into the red tier. The county's tier is determined by 3 things: adjusted case rate, testing positivity rate, and positivity rate among the most disadvantaged communities. Kern meets red tier metrics for all of those except the adjusted case rate. The county's case rate is adjusted based on the number of people getting tested. So one way to improve that metric is to take a COVID test, even if you're not feeling sick. Wearing your mask also helps.
We're tired of this. We're exhausted. But so what? We need to do what's right.
That's right.
We need to use preventative measures. We need to not lose ground.
We're not alone. In Sacramento, state health officials revealed not a single county in California is being allowed to move into a less restrictive tier of regulations until further notice. And more than half of the counties in the state are slated to move back to a more restrictive tier.
Your time now is 5:16, and organizers of the annual Veterans Day Parade aren't letting the pandemic stop them from honoring those who have served. They're adapting and hosting a Veterans Day cruise instead. You can stay in your cars and celebrate local veterans at today's event. It is open to all classic and custom car owners to join in. Here's a look at the map. You can join in at any one of the 5 start locations and then cruise through the whole route. The route will take you by several local parks and senior living facilities. The cruise gets underway at 11:11 this morning because, of course, today is 11/11. And at 10 o'clock this morning, Green Lawn Southwest on Panama Lane plans to unveil 13 new granite headstones for veterans whose graves have previously been unmarked, including one man whose grave was left unmarked since his death in 1936. There are several Veterans Day events happening this week to honor those who have served our nation. Today, there will be a lunch presented by Post 26 and Halliburton Oilfield Services. Veterans will eat free. It's at the Post headquarters at 2020 8th Street. From 11:30 in the morning till 2 p.m. And we will be airing a special TV tribute for Kern County veterans. It's happening tonight from 7 to 7:30 right here on TV 17. And then on Saturday, you can catch another veterans special featuring stories about local, state, and national veterans. For a full list of events, just head to our website, kget.com.
The Portrait of a Warrior Gallery in downtown Bakersfield honors Kern County veterans who've made the ultimate sacrifice in military action since 9/11. Now the gallery is expanding to remember warriors of another sort are missing in action. 17's Robert Price gives us a tour.
Meet Harvey L. Havens of Shafter, who is almost certainly Kern County's first World War II MIA. Havens was aboard the USS Arizona, docked at the Pearl Harbor Naval Base on Oahu, Hawaii, the morning of December 7th, 1941, a day that will live in infamy. He is one of the 1,102 sailors and Marines forever entombed in that sunken battleship, and as such is still classified as missing in action. It is sacrifices like that of Seaman Harvey Havens that are the inspiration for a special memorial in the planning stages in downtown Bakersfield. The MIA Remembrance, a newly created nonprofit now in fundraising mode, will bring the nation's missing in action to life in a unique way. I hold in my hand a mock-up of 42 dog tags. Now multiply this times 2,000, and we'll have about 80,000, more than 80,000 dog tags in this room, this MIA Remembrance exhibit. The dog tag display will be one of the centerpieces of the exhibit inside the Portrait of a Warrior gallery. One replica dog tag for each of the nation's missing in action soldiers, sailors, Marines, and airmen. And one is for Seaman Harvey Havens. Bill Potter is heading up the project.
And we're hoping to work with our air conditioning vendor that some type of a system can be put in that distributes air where they'll actually move. Where they're not just hanging there, but they'll actually be, because again, they're still with us.
The MIA Remembered Room will fully occupy a 25 by 12 space at the back of Portrait of a Warrior, the gallery that opened at 20th and I 2 years ago. Ed Gady, a Vietnam veteran and gallery docent, says Portrait of a Warrior and the MIA project subsist on community generosity.
We have about 120 veterans, 121 that we've verified to be Kern County Missing in Action. So we will be able to honor them. Hopefully we'll be able to tell some of their stories to the public.
Want to help? Here's how.
We would like to donate to Missing in Action Remembered. We do have a website. It's miaremembered.org.
The schematics are finished, and the contractors are getting started. This could happen as early as Memorial Day 2021. In downtown Bakersfield, Robert Price, 17 News.
KGET Business Watch is brought to you by Grapevine MSP Technology Services, the Valley's leading IT service provider.
Welcome back to your 17 Business Watch. Apple unveiled new products at an event in Cupertino, a new line of Macs, the Mac Mini, and MacBook Air, and the MacBook Pro. They all feature a new Apple Silicon chip called the M1. These new chips increase the processing power, speed, storage, and graphics capabilities while running on less power. The Mac Mini CPU starts at $699, the MacBook Air at $999, and the MacBook Pro at $1299. All three are available to order and should arrive next week. A reminder, U.S. Postal Services are closed in observance of Veterans Day. Officials say post office locations will be closed to retail transactions, and there will be no residential or business deliveries, with the exception of Priority Mail Express, which is delivered every day of the year. Normal delivery and collection schedules will resume tomorrow. And some businesses are offering deals today to honor and support our veterans. Little Caesars is offering all United States Armed Forces veterans and active duty military a free hot ready lunch combo at participating stores nationwide. It includes 4 slices of Detroit-style deep dish pizza and a choice of drink. And military-made gift boxes are on sale today. The gift boxes showcase small businesses and products developed by veterans. Comes with 9 products like Alpha Coffee and Brotalion mugs. Each product was created and sold by American military veterans and their entrepreneur spouses. The gift box retails for $49.95, and a portion of each sale goes to Hiring America Serves, a nonprofit organization which supports training and educational services for our U.S. veterans.
Welcome back here at 526 in entertainment news. The Grinch is coming to NBC this holiday season. The classic How the Grinch Stole Christmas will air on NBC the Friday evening after Thanksgiving. Then on Wednesday, December 9th, a 2-hour stage production of Dr. Seuss's The Grinch musical will air on NBC, starring former Glee star Matthew Morrison as the title character. Okay, I can't wait to see that. I'm sold. I loved Glee.
Because I'm pretty sure they air The Grinch after Thanksgiving regardless, right?
I know they air it at some point.
So that should be kind of a little different.
Every year. How fun.
It'd be fun.
Well, as contestants on The Voice continue to battle it out, Bakersfield's own Jim Ranger was once again in the spotlight. 38-year-old Ranger is a pastor at New Life Church in Bakersfield. He convinced 3 judges to turn their chairs around during the first night of blind auditions when he sang Blue Ain't Your Color by Keith Urban. Ranger ultimately chose Blake Shelton as his coach, and he now moves on to the knockout rounds of The Voice, airing Tuesday on TV 17. He is just incredible. I could listen to him sing all day.
You know, it's really exciting to have a local on the national stage, you know, and to follow that.
I know.
Neat, yeah.
Can't wait to see how he does. All right, great event. Thanks very much, Kev. 17 News at your local election headquarters. For the first time, we're hearing President-elect Joe Biden's take on challenging election results as Republicans line up behind President Trump. Tracy Potts has the latest.
Mr. Vice President, is it time to concede?
President-elect Biden speaking out on President Trump's refusal to acknowledge his victory.
I just think it's an embarrassment, quite frankly.
Biden is taking calls from world leaders, naming cabinet appointments by Thanksgiving, planning to expand health care.
I will protect your health care like as my own family.
His transition is moving ahead with no help from the Trump administration. Biden is not getting the classified presidential briefing, and the Secretary of State insists there will be no turnover.
There will be a smooth transition to a second Trump administration.
Republicans backing President Trump, arguing the transition is premature.
We will allow the courts to do their work.
We need to send Big Bird to some of these states to teach them how to count.
Have you congratulated Vice President Biden yet?
No.
Lawmakers also reacting to President Trump firing Defense Secretary Mark Esper.
Threatening the continuity of our national security policy because he's having a temper tantrum.
The president has not spoken on camera for 5 days, but he's tweeting more claims of voter fraud, disputed and flagged for lacking evidence. But we do expect to see the president today, his first public appearance since the election results were announced, a ceremony at Arlington National Cemetery to commemorate Veterans Day. Tracy Potts, NBC News.
And here at home yesterday afternoon, the Kern County Elections Office provided another update for our local races. 17's Eitan Wallace has been breaking down those numbers, and he joins us now with the latest results. Eitan, any change?
You know, Alex, yes, we have seen some change, and some of these races are very, very close. Let's start with the 21st Congressional District race. This is where it stands district-wide. Incumbent Democrat T.J. Cox of Fresno, 48.6%. Republican former three-term Congressman David Valadeo at 51.4%. Now, quickly, you see I put 100% in here, but put an asterisk next to that because that just means of how many precincts were in from election night, election day. That does not include the 120,000 plus ballots still left to count in Kern County, possibly tens of thousands in the 21st Congressional District. Now, Valadeo, as you see here, he's in the lead. But let me show you the margin as we go to the next slide here. The margin on Monday was 4,570 he was leading by. But yesterday, that went down. His lead is shrinking to 4,026. And as you remember 2018, very similar to how it was in 2018. Valadeo was leading on election night, but in the weeks that followed, his lead shrunk. And then, of course, T.J. Cox took the lead, won by 862 votes. Let's show you the Kern County part of the district, and that's why the remaining ballots are so significant, because look, T.J. Cox in the Kern County part of the district is winning basically 60-40, and if there's tens of thousands of ballots left, that's going to be something that the Cox campaign is going to be very happy about, because they know that the Kern County part of the district is very much in favor of Mr. Cox. So we will be watching that carefully in the next few days, if not weeks. Let's show you the 23rd race here. Republican Kevin McCarthy in a commanding lead over Democrat challenger Kim Mangon of Quartz Hill. This lead we've seen has changed in the last few days. If anything, McCarthy's lead has increased by about 1% over the last day. So he's good right now. He is in a solid lead there. All right, let's show you some more hyper-local races. Delano City Council, Veronica Vazquez, first place here. Incumbent Joa Lindahow, second place at 18.9%. And the top three out of all 7 candidates in this race win this. So Sal Ruiz managed to sneak into third place over the weekend. He's beating incumbent now Grace Vallejo, who is in fourth place, by just about 100 more than 100 votes there. So we're watching this race. Let me show you the other 3 candidates in this race. You see incumbent Joe Aguirre in 5th place. Last, I want to show you Arvin here, Arvin Mayor. Notice incumbent Jose Gurola at 42.8%. Challenger and current city councilwoman Olivia Trujillo, 57.2% in Arvin. So these are all races we are watching very closely. And as you can see in some of these local races, every vote truly matters. Alex and Maddie, back to you.
Working in the spirit of the Golden Empire, this is 17 News at Sunrise.
The 17 News at Sunrise podcast is a production of KGET and Nexstar Media Group. For more on all of the headlines in today's show, head to kget.com.